So in this video, what we're going to talk about is just why the type of peak that you choose is important. This might seem like a weird concept to a lot of people, and maybe for the lower rank players, they don't ever put any thought into how they're going to peak something. So for example, say the round starts and I'm playing Cypher right now, and I'm going to run up here and I'm going to swing this player on C-Long, or maybe I'm going to go for the orb, right? If I did that exactly like I just did, there's a high percentage chance that I would actually get killed in a lot of rounds, right? Maybe it's a rifle round and they can actually just take this duel, and they could be on any of these angles, 2, 3, like up there, maybe even up there if they really wanted to. Like they would get all over the place. And that's scary because I'm peeking a ton of angles at once, right? I can't individually clear all of these angles when I'm wide swinging. I can't just go boom, 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 boom. Like that doesn't work, right? So instead, what you'll want to do maybe is you want to individually clear these angles. You can slowly, methodically, you're going to back up away from the corner. You're going to slow peek, and you're going to do something like this. Maybe little jiggles. Okay, nobody's there. Nobody's there. Maybe you're peeking up top. Now you're peeking this. Now you're peeking like this. And you could clear all those angles individually. And this might be a little better in some situations, but I could still argue that this would be bad in a lot of other situations, right? So say, for example, they have an operator, and that operator is posted up right on this angle. Am I going to want to clear it like this? I mean, sure, my crosshair placement's going to be all right, but this isn't really a duel that I want to take. This is like 30 plus meters against an operator. I have a Vandal. Vandals is not completely accurate at this range. Notice where all these bullets are going to land? They land kind of all over the place in many ways. Like, it's sort of in the general area, but it's not a guaranteed headshot all of the time. And like taking this duel against an operator is just not something that you're going to want to do generally. So like in that case, a jiggle peek might be better. So rather than actually peeking at all, you might try to bait out the operator shot, just try to gather that info. Maybe you even jump peek. Maybe you even do something like this, right? And you just try to go for that info. All of these are great ways that you can actually deal, or like that you can kind of manage the type of peak that you're going to approach with, right? Or say I'm over here on site and I am playing as like a Phoenix, or like say I don't have any utility right now. I'm Cypher, like any agent who doesn't have any info gathering abilities. How am I going to gather info on C-Long? It's very quiet right now on the map. We don't hear anything A, we don't hear anything B, and we don't hear anything C. So like, how am I going to peak this? Well, some people might just jiggle it like this, or they might actually just like go for a peek and just try to see if anybody's here. This is incredibly dangerous. Like in a lot of scenarios, if you go for this, you're going to run into 3 people right here and you're going to get gunned down immediately. So what is the safer way to do this? Well, rather than doing that, you can take your knife out and you can just go for a jump peek. Do one of these. Oh, cool. Like you spotted somebody like right here. It's a lot safer because you're going to be more quick and you're jumping, so you're not going to get headshot. And now you have the info, right? This is going to be so much better off for you than just coming out here and wide swinging this angle and just hoping that nobody's here. This is why it's important. And at the top level of Valorant, the type of peak that you choose is all about mind games. It's just about how am I going to predict what the enemy is doing and then try to react to it appropriately, where it'll make them miss their shot or make them more likely to miss their shot. So this is why it's important to the game. This is why you should put a lot more thought into it. Basically, another example I could give is like, say, for example, I am trying to clear an area. Let's say I'm trying to clear short, for example. And I'm coming in here. I'm not going to clear short by doing this, right? I'm going to run up close to the corner and peek it like this. Even though we've talked about in the past how wide swinging can be faster if you're closer to the wall. So say, for example, I swing this right here. I'm going to move pretty quick, as opposed to if I'm swinging it from like back here, I'm going to move a little bit slower on the enemy's screen. And this just has to do with perspective. You know, like when you're playing aim labs and the little balls fly like really close to your face and they move super quickly. It's like hard to track at times. That's the same thing. That just has to do with perspective. But like I was saying, you're not going to want to clear corners like this and like come around here like this and like clear that guy like that. That just sounds idiotic. You're going to try to get as much distance as you can between these angles so that it makes it a lot safer. So you'll peek it like that maybe, and then maybe you'll move your crosshair like this so you can peek it like that. And then maybe you're going to peek something like this. You also have to be careful with this angle. This is a dangerous angle to peek, but anyway, coming in here, this is how I normally clear it. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to try to see if I can see anybody in this corner, because sometimes people will hide in this corner, and you can kind of see like their shoulder, and that way you're not going to die to it. So now I've cleared this corner, and now I can fully clear this corner like this, right? Now I don't need to worry about like getting double peeked right here, because if I don't clear that corner and I run in like this instead, I could be walking into a 50-50. This isn't not, like, that's not something I want to do. Instead, I'm going to methodically choose how I'm going to peek all of these angles and just try to clear all of my angles myself that I can. And it'll make it a lot easier for me to take these gunfights. It'll let me isolate my gunfights a lot easier. So That's just like going through a couple of different ways why you might choose to use one peak over another peak and how it can actually impact your gameplay. One final example is just like if you know that an enemy might be aiming close to the corner, maybe they know that you're there, right? And they're expecting you to peek it. That's a scenario in which you might want to mix it up. So say, for example, I jiggle long here, or maybe I go for like the jump peek on somebody right here, and now they know that I'm here. Am I just going to wide swing it right now? Maybe. Or maybe I'm going to try to like mix up my position on what they know, so that way, and when they're like waiting for me to jump peek again, they're maybe waiting for me to wide swing, I've already mixed up my position. They don't know where I'm at anymore. Rather than just going for the basic play that somebody might expect, where it's like, maybe you go for another jump peek. That sounds like a terrible idea. They already saw me jump peeking right here. That sounds like it's going to get me killed. So instead, I'm not going to go for another jump peek because they saw me, and instead, I'm going to try something else. So whether that's something else, like I said, is like wide swinging, switching up your position, doing literally anything, is pretty much going to be better than this jump peek, because this jump peek is what they expect, so we need to try something different. Same thing with if we like wide swing an angle, and then we back off. A lot of the times what you'll see from Jett players is, like, especially Jett players, they'll just repeat the same angle. And it's like, that's not really a good idea. Even though you can dash away, you could still get traded out, and people are expecting that. They've already seen you do that. You need to kind of switch it up. So hopefully this is helpful for some players to give them some sort of insight. And let's move on to the next video in the course.